Hey everybody, this is Alma coming to you from Long Beach, California. Today is Friday, October 30th, the year 2020, and this is my 41st FlossTube video, believe it or not. So as always, welcome everybody, and welcome to my channel, Alma's Little Wonders. Welcome back to any returning viewers and subscribers. Thank you, as always, for your continuing support, for coming back week after week to check in on me, to see what I'm up to. And of course, welcome to anyone that's watching my videos for the first time. I hope that you like what you see and you find a reason to stay and subscribe and continue to follow me on my stitching journey. I am coming to you a day early this week. I normally do upload my videos on Saturday after, well, I film Saturday mornings, but the time I film and get it uploaded, it goes up at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, my time. But tomorrow is going to be a very eventful day in the world of cross stitching. A few people that I follow are going to be having live events, and they're gonna happen around the time that I film. So I wanted to go ahead and just film today, day early, so I could go ahead and participate on those events. So I hope you don't mind that I'm coming to you day early this week. One of the events that I'm going to be tuning into is a friend of mine is celebrating her FlossTube anniversary, her first anniversary. She's been doing FlossTubes for a year now. She's fantastic. Her name's Becca. She's Sambry Stitches here on FlossTube and on Instagram. So yeah, so she's going to be one of the ones that's doing a live tomorrow. One of the things she also does on her channel is she does interviews with a FlossTuber. So every week she features a new FlossTuber, or a different FlossTuber, I shouldn't say new, a different FlossTuber, and she has a basic set of questions that she asks everybody. It's the same questions for everybody, which range from what kind of style you have for your cross stitching patterns to your beginnings, your history with cross stitching. So all of that to say is that I filmed an interview with her a few weeks ago, like maybe a month and a half ago or so. She does she tries to do them like way in anticipation, so she has time for editing and such, and also just scheduling, so that she can have a little bit of wiggle room for scheduling. But it just so happens that now on her weekend of her anniversary, it's my interview that's going up. I think it's going up on Sunday. I'm not quite sure. But as soon as I know that the interview is up, I'll go ahead and let you guys know. I'll go ahead and post it on Instagram, and also make one of the announcement posts that you can do on the FlossTube channels or the YouTube channels. So either way, you'll get the information. I'll go ahead and link her FlossTube channel below anyways, so you can check her out. She's amazing. She has all the creativity that I could ever hope to have. She's a genius when it comes to finishing things. She has such creativity. It's amazing. So go check her out regardless. But our interview will be coming up this weekend. So that aside, I do have plenty of to show you guys this week. I have been a very busy bee. Well, it feels like I've been a busy bee, but it's just because now it's 2 weeks in between FlossTube updates. So every time I do a FlossTube update now, it feels like I have a lot to show you guys. But regardless, this might be a little bit of a longer video. So go ahead and settle in, grab your cup of tea, your cup of coffee, your craft of choice, whether it be cross stitching or knitting, crocheting, whatever, and yeah, let's get to the stitching. And this is gonna be in no particular order. I just have a stack of things that I have to show you, so we'll just go with however they are. But one of the pieces that I have been working on pretty regularly lately is a mystic stitch chart that I got back in February. I started this with Zakia of Lady Queen Designs here on FlossTube and Instagram. Our goal is to finish this in not the next leap day, but the following leap day. So hopefully 8 years should be enough for us to finish this, because we started on leap day. That was I forgot to mention that. It was our leap day start. So we want to finish it by 2 leap days. And for a while I was kind of, we both were like, we've had this conversation, we were both stuck on this for a while, and I think it's because we were both trying to do just one color at a time. But I eventually thought, you know, I've hit 8,000 stitches with I hit 8,000 stitches on this, and like, you know, 99% of those 8,000 stitches were all done using one color. So I'm like, I think I'm due for a new color, and that really was it. That made all the difference. I started adding the yellow, which is really pretty. Like, it just blends so nicely with the rest of it. There's also, it's kind of hard to tell in the picture, but there's so you have the main tree in the middle, obviously, but then in the background for the autumn one, there's like trees in the background. So I don't know if you can tell, but that's what this is right here. It's just the tree branches from the other trees in the background. And again, just having those different colors kind of did make all the difference. It's a little bit more bearable. It's fun now. And then somebody on my Instagram suggested that I should stitch on every season as they come along. So like right now we're in fall, we're in autumn, so I'm stitching on the autumn corner. So the goal, and I thought it was a good idea, so I think I'm gonna try doing that. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to edge my way to the center here, so that when winter time comes around, I can go ahead and move forward, and then I'll try going, you know, along the edge somehow, so that I can keep moving, keep going on the rest of the seasons. So I think that'll definitely keep, you know, it's gonna keep it fun. It's gonna make it fun. Oops. It's gonna keep it fun. It's gonna keep it entertaining. So yeah, so we'll have to see. I'm gonna try to work on this month as well. I have a challenge that's coming up. Well, I say Full Coverage Fanatics has a challenge coming up this month for Wheel of Fortune, where you could do it in different tiers. You can do it 500 stitch tier, a 250 stitch tier, or I think a 50 stitch tier. And when I say 500, it means 500 stitches for a letter. So you have to eventually stitch the entire word. Yeah, the entire word of letters. That made sense. So like, for example, the first word is, I think, celebrate, which has 9 letters. So I have to do 9 segments of 500 stitches, but I think you only have to do like a starting point and an ending point. You don't have to do it every 500 stitches. But I am going to be participating in that. I'm gonna try to use this for one of the words. I'm not sure, because I do have other pieces that I didn't really touch during October that much. So we'll see if I can get to it. I counted it up, and if I did my math right, if you did all the words, and if I did them in 500 stitches, I'll have stitched 19,000 stitches in a month, which is not, it's kind of hard. So I don't, when I signed up for it, I kind of went into it thinking I'm not doing it for the words. Like, the goal is not to stitch as many words as possible, oddly enough. I'm doing it for the stitch count, right? I want to stitch as much on a single piece as possible. So hopefully I'll keep that mentality, because otherwise I'm just going to be, you know, pushing myself beyond my limits to try to get all the words. Anyways, moving on. The next next piece that I was working on, and I was actually just working on last night. So again, this is in no particular order. This is my Bilbo's Home piece by Mandarin's Designs. I started this at the beginning of the year, January 1st. Originally, I intended to finish it by the end of the year. Thought that would have been nice, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So I'm gonna, I'm just going to go for the 2/3 mark, which I'm fairly close to. I think I'm at 62 or 63% right now, so I don't have that much to go. But as you can see, I have finished pretty much all of the hills here now. You can see it's so cute. I love this design so much. Like, can we just look at the little hobbit holes and the little chimneys? I've enjoyed working on this a lot, in case you couldn't tell. So yeah, so I don't have that much to go on this, you know, the scenery. I just have to finish up. I think this is like a stream or something. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's like some blues in here that I have to stitch. And then I also still need to finish this stone path that goes to Bilbo's home. Excuse me. And then of course Bilbo himself. And then I can stitch the interior. Like, you can see the floor on this design. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with this, how this is turning out. And I still have the back stitching and the detailing to go, guys. So this isn't finished. Again, that's another reason why I didn't think that the original goal was going to happen, is because it's not just the stitching that I need to get done, it's the back stitching and the details, which there's quite a bit of. So that's okay, it's fine. I'm still enjoying it. I do have one of her designs ready to start, based on The Little Prince, which, if you're familiar with the children's book, I'm stitching a piece that is a replica of the picture where he is flying off into space using the paper doves. So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna be starting, but I'm not gonna start that until I finish this. So well, let me rephrase it. I'm gonna start it so that I can use it for next year's challenge, the No New Starts challenge. But once I put in those initial 200 stitches so I can qualify, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna touch it until I finish Bilbo first. So that's one thing. If you follow me on Instagram, then you've seen I'm starting all the things. Most of these are not going to be touched for a while. I just have them there so that I can still work on them next year if and when I want to. So yeah, so that's one thing I did want to say. Another piece that I'm working on is here we go. My Frankenstein style. The pattern is by Sapphire Mountain. Yeah, Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts, for her stitching book club. So I think you can find her on Instagram as Stitching Book Club. And then the Etsy shop is Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. But we've been working on this for like 6 weeks now, if I remember correctly. Sorry, this was like bothering me. But the final piece was supposed to be released tomorrow, Halloween. However, I guess a few people reached out and requested that she release it early if possible, so that they can have it all stitched up and displayed and ready to go for Halloween. So she was kind enough to go ahead and do that. She released the pattern, the last part of the pattern, last week. However, I'm still stuck on the penultimate, I guess, part, which is, I mean, I just have this little vignette to go. I think, yeah, so the last part consisted of these two right here. So last time, I think I may have been here, I'm not quite sure, But I finished most of it. The only thing I have left to do is the moon. There's a moon here, which I'll do essentially in the same, you can't really see it, but the stars here and the lightning bolt over here, you can kind of see it with the lighting. They're done in sparkly thread that I had in my stash, so I think I'm gonna do the moon. I'm considering doing at least the moon in a glow-in-the-dark thread, just because it's the moon and I feel like that would go nicely. But otherwise I just have this vignette to go. So Mary Shelley is the author of the book, so I still have her first name to go, and there's like a little flower on top of it, and then there's like these little I don't know, they look like flowers to me really, but I don't know what they're supposed to be, but those go on all four corners, so I still have to do that. And then the last part is the border. So all of this border right here, all this empty space, has a geometric pattern. It's like this zigzag pattern that goes all around. So it's going to be very stitch intensive. So what I've decided to do is I'm actually going to stitch that border in a dark brown, because I thought if I did it, I kind of considered doing it in the gray, but I thought that was going to be it was going to be too much either way, and I kind of wanted the border, because I'm like, okay, this is going to be like a frame, right? It's going to be framing the rest of the pattern, so I wanted the frame to be something different. So that's why I'm gonna go ahead and go with the dark brown. So hopefully, I think I like stitching on this on Fridays for Frankenstein Friday, so I think it may still take me 2 or 3 more weeks to finish, but I'm not in a hurry, so you may see this finished by next video, maybe not. We'll see. Again, I'm not in a hurry. I'm really enjoying that stitch, and that's partly why I don't want to finish it anytime soon, is because I've been enjoying it so much. Another piece that I kept working on that I showed you last time is, oh, and it just got stuck on the zipper. That's great. So a piece that I got on Etsy. The shop is called 2x2 Stitch Art, and so the way that this person has her pattern set up is they don't necessarily have a name, they have descriptions. So I just call this Galaxy Flowers of the Galaxy, or Galaxy Flowers. I kind of interchanged them. Oops. But I did keep going on that one. I stitched, so this is what I've done. Oh, that's actually coming out really nicely. On pictures, I had to get creative to make sure that the black actually looked black and not like gray or anything else. But I kept working mostly on this bottom area, I think. I'm trying to remember where I was last time. So I think I worked on this bottom area. I definitely finished this flower up top. And I think I have a little under 4,000 stitches to go. It's like 3,000 something. So it'll be a nice quick finish next, well, I'm not gonna finish it this year. I've kind of changed of plans. I think I'm gonna take this last few weeks of the year to go ahead and start everything that I want to start, that I want to use for no new starts for the challenge next year, and then I'll just worry about finishes once the new year starts. So, but this is definitely one of the first ones in line to be finished, since it doesn't need that much to go. And yeah, I started this with a friend of mine, a stitchy friend of mine, and oddly enough, like when we first started, she was booking it, like she stitched a ton, and I kind of fell back. But now it's pretty even. I think I may have a little bit more done than she does, but I caught up, so it's fine. One of the pieces that I also picked up this week is one that I haven't really stitched on in a while. It's one of my Anna Dittman designs. well, it's by Heaven Inner Designs, but the artwork is by Anna Dittman. This is T, and it's Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock Holmes from the BBC show. It's one of my favorite shows, my all-time favorite shows. I started this on my birthday and it really hasn't gotten that much love. That's going to change next year for sure. I picked it up for a Magical Stitches prompt where we had to stitch on something. So the prompt was, we were working on a curse for the witches, and a part of the curse says, drink from a cup to know all their secrets. Like, drink tea from a cup to know all their secrets. Something like that. So, I mean, as soon as I saw the prompt, I was like, say no more. This is perfect. It's Sherlock Holmes. He's drinking tea from a cup, and he can definitely find out all your secrets. But all I did really was like this section right here. It was like 200 stitches is what the homework called for. So that's it really. And again, so I haven't really done much. I started this in July and it really hasn't gotten that much love. And I think partly why is because for full coverage fanatics, even if a design is all covered up, like it's full coverage, in order for their intents and purposes, in order for a piece to actually qualify as a full coverage piece, is there has to be background. So this one, yes, it's all stitched up, and yes, I'm gonna stitch. I actually don't think I stitch everything. I think there's like an outline over here. I don't really stitch all of this, but there's no background. So there's like, if you could see like his living room, the couch that he's sitting on or something, then maybe it could have qualified. But as it is, it doesn't have much, so it doesn't qualify. So I can't use it for the events and full coverage. So I feel like that's why this doesn't get that much love. But it's fine. That's still going. I'm still going to try to stitch on it more often than I did this year, because I love the piece. I love Sherlock Holmes. I have really fond memories of watching that show, so I do want to stitch on it a lot more. So another piece that I worked on was one that I showed you guys last time. So I did mention that I was going to be starting this. Is my Chilton Crafts chart called Caramel Macchiato. And the artwork is by Daniel Kordek, of course. I love Daniel Kordek. Here we go. And it is supposed to resemble Ariana Grande. Back when I got the pattern, there was no mention of her, even though it does look like her. But now the pattern is officially named Caramel Macchiato Ariana, or like flipped, like Ariana Caramel Macchiato. Either way, her name is somewhere in there. But yeah, so I did manage to start that, and again, I only put in 200 stitches so I can qualify for No New Starts challenge next year. So this is my tiny start. What is this? This is my tiny start. Yeah, it uses a lot of dark reds and browns, or the background does. So yeah, that should be a quick stitch, I think. It didn't take too long to get those 200 stitches in, so I'm hoping that I can make good progress on it. It's not that large, or it's relatively not that large compared to some of the other things I've been working on. Another piece that I did start is a Cinderella chart that I found on Etsy, and I completely fell in love with it. So here she is, and it's all about the dress. Like, that's it. That's the only reason I got this pattern, is because I became completely obsessed with her dress. Like, Cinderella's not even my favorite princess, and yet I have 2 Cinderella charts, so go figure. That happens to me a lot, actually. Like, the same goes for Little Mermaid. She's not necessarily my favorite princess, and yet a lot of Little Mermaid merchandise is super cute, and I end up getting it. But this is my tiny start on this one. There goes the needle, and you know, matching needle minder for Cinderella. I think I did no, false. I think I did 300 stitches on this one. It's not too exciting to look at. It's just $9.39. Because that's the most used color. So instead of using 310, it uses $9.39. So it's still gonna be a ton, and I mean $9.39 is basically black. It's the darkest blue there is. But that's my small start, and I promised myself that I wasn't going to be working on this too much until I made a dent on my current Cinderella whip by Tilton Crafts. Another piece that I started, because again, we're all the starts. Again, if you see my Instagram, you know I've been starting all the things. Another piece that I started this week is a Heaven and Earth Designs chart, and it's based on the show Game of Thrones. This is one of the characters from the show. His name is Khal Drogo, and he's very nice to look at. And this is a mini chart, so I'm hoping that this is gonna stitch up relatively quickly. And I'm sorry if it bothered, because I'm trying to work with the glare. I'm sorry if, like, my print, I'll show you guys, because this one I actually tried to print off on paper. It came out pink. I don't know what's wrong with our printer. I'll ask my boyfriend to see if he can look into it, because he came out pink and it cracked me up. He's such a man, because he's one of the most, in my opinion, he's one of the most badass characters in the show. And here we go, a pretty pink princess. So this is, the name of the chart is Mini Sun and Stars, and this is the artist Katerina Koukiotis. So again, it's the mini version, so I hope it stitches up relatively quickly. As it is, I did 300 stitches on this because I did it for a homework prompt for Magical Stitches. So this is my start, and it's kind of hard to see, but okay, this curved line of stitches right here, that's the outline of his shoulder. So we get his shoulder or collarbone, whatever that is. It's the edge of where he is, you know, the difference between background and Khal Drogo. So that was actually kind of a relief to see that it wasn't, because I thought I was going to be stitching background for forever and ever, as I usually do, but I don't think I will be for this one. But yeah, I started this. And again, I'm hoping it's going to be a quick stitch. I don't think this is going to qualify for full coverage fanatics either, because it doesn't have a background technically. So it'll have the same issue as my Sherlock piece, but that's okay. I'll make it work. Yeah, I'll make it work. I guess Carol, I have to ask. I always ask. Whenever I have questions, I always ask. Another piece that I started, that I've talked about for ages, is another Heaven and Earth Designs chart, based on Amy Stewart's artwork. And a ton of my friends started this back in October. I meant to start it with them. I wanted to start it with them, but I hadn't gotten the fabric. I didn't get the fabric in time. They started it on the October 1st. So I was only a couple of weeks behind, but that's fine. This is Reader's Paradise. And as soon as this chart came out earlier this year, I knew I had to do it. I had to do it. It's beautiful. Like, it's all the books. It's a bookstore, it's all the books. So I'm starting on this little corner right here. Boop! So I'm excited because I know that I'll eventually get to this kitten right here. Super cute. But yes, so I got around to starting that. It's this way. That's it. That's my teeny tiny start. And again, you can see all the folds of fabric. It's gonna be a massive piece because I got the supersized version. So long waist, it's 999 stitches. It's, yeah, long, and then wide, I forget what it is, 714 stitches wide. The shorter side, I don't know. But yeah, even though it's massive, there's a lot of details. Like, just looking at the chart, I can tell that I'm going to be starting a small stack of books already. So at least it's not like my other charts where I'm stitching background a lot. There's a lot of things to see here in this chart, so that's going to keep me entertained, to say the least. So yeah, that's definitely going to take plenty of time to finish. I'm definitely gonna have that be a priority somehow or another. I'll have to see. I'm going to be basing most of my plans on the Full Coverage Fanatics book challenge next year, so maybe, I don't know, I was gonna say like maybe I can do, because for every month there's going to be 3 books, so I was like, oh, maybe I can do 1 book every month on that one so I can get things done. But I have so many other whips that I don't know if I'll be able to commit to it. And the last piece that I've started so far is a piece by our very own Park Hopper Bart, here on FlossTube and on Instagram. He designs a lot of patterns based on Disney and the Disney parks. So he stitched this up himself. So he designs everything, but sometimes he'll also stitch his own designs to kind of use as a model. I don't know if he does it all the time, but for this one at least he did. And so when he first posted his whip or progress pics of the whip, like I knew that I wanted to make this. That pattern is his Sweet Tomb. So, you know, Haunted Mansion is one of my favorite things ever. My favorite ride in the entire park. So again, as soon as I found out that he was working on this, I was like, cool. So I'm definitely gonna be buying that when it's available. And he stitched his on like a gray fabric instead of brown, but I went ahead and I stuck to a little bit to more of what he used as a model, or you know, on the pattern when you buy it. I still needed to do a little bit of change on the floss though, so this is what I have so far. And it's mostly like the lighter tones, like the lightest green and the lightest pink just blended too much into the fabric for my taste, so I ended up having to change that. And then that just, I don't know, just in general that kind of changed. I feel like just changing that one teeny tiny color, I found myself wanting, well, the leaves were okay, the leaves weren't that bad, they were fine, but for the rose I ended up having to change most of the tones, but it's fine, because again, it's all about the fabric. Depending on the fabric you use, sometimes colors disappear, but I think it'll work on this fabric. It's not gonna be an exact replica of, because the roses on the original Tomb frame that's actually in the ride, it is a little bit more like more pinkish bluish, like purplish, than it is pink reddish, but it's fine. I'll make it work. I'm just happy to stitch this. And I do have to give Bart props, because one of the things that I noticed in the pattern is that some of the symbols were similar. And I mean, I've gotten patterns like this where like they'll use a triangle that's pointing, you know, to the left corner, the bottom left corner, and then you'll have a triangle that's pointing to the bottom right corner, and you know, put them together and suddenly they're like, it's a little bit confusing, and I messaged him about it, and he was kind enough to send me an updated copy. Like, he's like, I'm so sorry, here you go, I know it's confusing, happy stitching. So thank you. I don't know if he's watching, because I know sometimes he does, so if you're watching, thank you, Bart. Super looking forward to stitching this, and thank you for, you know, 5-star customer service. So I'll definitely be stitching this continuously, because I do want to finish it sooner rather than later, since it's not I mean, it is going to be a big stitch. So, and the way that he has it designed is you stitch the tomb part on a separate piece of fabric. I don't know if I'll do that or not. I'm still debating. I mean, yeah, worst case scenario, I end up having to actually stitch that white background on the same piece of fabric. But I don't know, I'll have to see. I'll have to see. So yeah, so those are all my new starts and just general progress on my current whips. I've started so many different things, and yet we still have New Start November coming up. So yeah, the new starts are just gonna keep on coming, guys. One thing I did want to go ahead and mention is that I did receive some stitch of kindness this week. Well, the last 2 weeks. One of them was from her name is Debbie. Hi, Debbie. She's been really kind to me ever since I started making my videos. So she let me know that she had a dimensions kit that she meant to stitch, but she wasn't going to get around to it. So she thought that I might be interested in it. So I said yes, please. So she did go ahead and send me this, and I absolutely love it. It's called Summer Fragrance, and I don't know if you guys remember, but way back when in the beginning of my videos, I showed you guys a similar piece. It's by Dimensions, the Gold Collection, and I actually forget. I think it's Woman with Bouquet is the official name of the pattern of the piece. And it's very similar. It's a woman, obviously it's a woman holding a bouquet of flowers. Her blouse is white instead of black, but she also has a flower in her hair, so it's very similar. And I'm looking forward to stitching this because they're gonna be a matching set. But then she also sent over lots of other goodies that I wasn't expecting. She sent over some of the Lizzie Kate designs. I'm gonna be enjoying stitching this. I've always admired the Lizzie Kate designs. I'm never gonna run to getting some, but this one was my favorite. I really liked the sentiment. So I think this will be one of the first ones I stitch if and when I get around to it. But she also sent over this one, which I liked. Especially, you know, around these times, just the political climate and whatnot. And then there was also this one, which is, this is me. I showed this to my boyfriend. He's like, Oh man, yeah. I basically have to force myself to stop stitching so I can actually clean up around the house. And she also sent me this little kit, which I thought was really pretty. So this one, they show you the stitched up version, like the normal stitched up version, but then you also get the beaded version, and I actually really like the beaded version. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna try to finish. I'm trying not to flip it over because the pattern is on the other side. But yeah, I'm hoping to be able to stitch the beaded version eventually. I don't know when. She also sent over a little booklet full of beautiful little flowers. There's also this one in the back which like I already have a couple that I want to stitch. They're really pretty, and they look somewhat simpler designs. And then she's also sent over this kit based on this pattern right here, which yeah, I wish I could tell you what the name of the pattern is. I don't know. But these are the kits that come with like the painted fabric. So this is what she sent to me. So like it's all painted. This is on, I think it must be 11 count, because it's, I mean, those squares are massive. So I think I'll go ahead and stitch this, but I'm gonna be stitching it on white Aida, and I think it's 14 count. So it's still going to be a little big, but it's not gonna be as big as the 11 count that came with this. And plus I don't have to worry with these. I'm always afraid that the dye, like all the blues and all the yellows and greens, are gonna show through the floss. But yeah, at least with using the regular white Aida, you don't have to worry about that. So I'll definitely be starting that coming up soon for a new start in November. I don't know about the woman with bouquet. I might start it. I'll try to start it, but I know that that's going to be a doozy, and I already have a couple of dimensions kit. So originally I thought, okay, I'm not like, I may put in the 200 stitches on her, but I won't start, like I won't keep going until I finish at least one of my other dimensions kits, because I've got 3. I've got the Beauty and the Beast kit, the stacked teacups kit, and then I also have a mason jar kit, the mason jar lineup, which I think I only have like 15 stitches on, because I remember I kept messing up when I started it. But thank you again. So thank you, Debbie, for that. Really appreciate it. I'm very excited to start those wonderful patterns. The second Stitchy Kindness that I received was from my dear friend Leanne. So I've talked about this pattern previously in my videos. It's one of the patterns that I got for my birthday. I got a birthday card, or gift card for my birthday. So this is one of the patterns that I got. It's Nevermore by Lila's Studio. And this pattern came out in 2018, and I've had my eye on it ever since it came out. I think it's beautiful. The colors are just wonderful. And I was planning on starting this with Michelle, Southern Doxy Stitcher. We talked about it. I showed it to her. She ended up falling in love with the pattern, so she bought it right then and there. And then we both made plans to start it for Halloween. And I was talking to Leanne about it, and I mentioned that if I did end up starting it for Halloween, I would have to use just the regular DMC conversion, or the original is stitched on using Gentle Art and Weeks Dye Works threads, which are hand dyed. That's how you get the I don't know if you can see it too well, but especially on the Raven, the glare's not working or not helping, but there's just a lot of texture to it. Like, it's got dark grays and blacks. So I was talking to Leanne about it and mentioned that I would have to use DMC threads. I still had some of the fabric that I'm using for Bart's, the Vintage Country Mocha. Like, this is way more fabric than I need for this piece. So I knew that I had some left over, enough to start Nevermore on it. Which, you know, this is, or the fabric is Feldspar by Picture This Plus is what it's stitched on. So it would be a different color. Obviously it was going to be more brown than gray, but I thought it would still look really nice. But I would have to use DMCs. And I dropped what I was going to show you. Please hold. Point being this, we talked, and she, I think she said she was going to be starting this too, but she ended up sending me a little kit. So she's the owner of Forbidden Fiber Company. So she took her own threads, made her own little conversion, and sent it over my way. So I'm very excited about this. The colors are beautiful. I feel like they don't show up well on camera at all, but can we just talk about this teal for a second? I fell in love with these. I thought they were perfect. I'm very excited. And she also took the time to hand dye a piece of fabric for it as well. Again, trying to base it off of the model that was used. So I'm very excited. I'm so excited to be working on this and starting it tomorrow. It'll be my first time working with hand, and it's still cotton, so it's still 100% cotton floss. Yeah, it's gonna be my first time working with hand-dyed floss like this. And of course, I rarely get hand-dyed fabric because it's again, it's a little bit out of, sometimes it's out of the budget. But yeah, so I'll be starting this. I'm ready to go. I mean, I was ready to go before, but now I'm super ready to go to be starting this tomorrow. And so thank you, Leanne, for this. Super excited. That's what I'll be doing tomorrow for Halloween. Is my Nevermore start. And yeah, that's pretty much everything that I have to show you guys this time around. So again, thank you, Debbie, and thank you, Leanne, for the stitch kindness. It was so nice to receive it. I don't really get things like that, so it was really nice, and I'm very grateful for it. And yeah, thank you again. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me today. It's a little bit longer because I did have quite a bit to show you guys this time around, and I feel like I talked more about each whip than I normally do. But yeah, I'll try to put everything, all the links and things as usual. I'll put them up in the description box for the video. But if you have any questions regarding anything that you saw, feel free to ask. If I can answer, I will. But yeah, I hope that you guys have a good week. If you are going to be doing anything for Halloween, then please be safe, because we are certainly not out of danger with the pandemic. We're still in the middle of it, so if you are going to be doing something, then please be responsible. Otherwise, I hope that you guys have a good weekend, or you have a productive week, and that you always find the time to do the thing that makes you happy. Until next time, guys.